Alright, so in this video, we'll be talking about the difference between hosting and then the domain. So, in the first place, what is a domain? And then also, what is a hosting? Okay, so before we talk about the domain, we have the domain name. Alright, so let's delve deeper into that. So, what is the domain? So, we have the domain name. So, the domain name is what people know, or that is the address of your website. So, when people want to find your website, or they want to find the name of a website of a company or any organization, they need to type the domain name into the browser. So it is the domain name that is going to help them. Without the domain name, they can never know where your website is. So a domain name is the address people type in a browser to visit your website. So a simple analogy is to think of it like this: that the domain name is actually the address of your house. So let's say you have a house. So what is the name of your house, or what is the address of your house? So when people want to find your house, so when people are lost and then they want to find the website, where are they going to find you? So they are going to use what? The domain name. So once they type the domain name inside the web browser, then it will lead them to your website. So now, for example, there are so many different, every website has a domain name. So without a domain name, your website cannot go live. Your website cannot go live. Like, people can't see it. It will remain on your it will remain locally on your machine. So you need a domain name. So you need a domain name so that people cannot visit your website. So talking of the domain name, actually, to find a domain name, you need to purchase one. So there are so many companies out there who help you to get a domain name for your website. But apart from that, there's also what we call the subdomain name. So the subdomain name, you can get some for free. There are so many companies that deals with it. For instance, we have the Infinity, and then we have Pro Free Host. That's the ones that I know. So they give you a subdomain which is for free. Yeah. So it is the domain. What you have to know is that the domain is actually um the address of your website. So once people go into the address bar, yeah, as in the terms of browsers and in terms of understanding the internet, when people search, they type the name of your website, then it will lead them to the domain. So now, before we talk about how the domain is connected to the hosting, let's also delve deeper into or demystify what the hosting also is. So the hosting is the space where your website files are stored so that the world can access them. So I want us to think of it in these terms. Hosting is the space. So it's the space on the web or on the server where your website files are stored. So once you purchase a domain name, that's one thing. You also need a hosting platform or a cloud platform that will host your website live. So they are most of the times stored on servers. So these servers are interconnected all around the world. So once people search in or type in your domain name, then it will lead them to your hosting. So you need to connect your domain name to your hosting. Once people type in the name of your domain name, it will lead them to your hosting where your website is actually files as well. Then we start loading your website. So you can also think of hosting as the land where your house sits, or the building where your house sits. That's the house. So once you go, when you want to build a house, you need a land to build on. So let's say the house is your website that you want to build. You want to build a website, or you want to build a house. That's the website. So you need a land. You need to first purchase a land. So that purchase of that land, that amount of land, that acres of land that your house is going to sit on or occupy, that compound, is what we term as what? The hosting. And then the domain is the name of that address of that locality. So there are hosting companies like Bluehost, Hostinger, that provide a server space for your files. All right. Now I want us to talk about how domain and then hosting works together. What is the connection between hosting and then domain name? All right, so the domain connects. Since I made a mistake here, so the domain name is connected to the hosting. Let me see. Yeah, this is the right slide. The domain name is actually connected to the hosting. The domain name is actually what connected to the hosting. So once people type in the address, the domain name what leads them to the location of where your website files are stored, which is the hosting. So the domain name direct the browser to the hosting, and then the hosting stores the website. Thank you for watching up to this point. And if this video has helped you, you can help subscribe and then share this video. All right, bye bye.